Welcome back to the deep dive.
Oh,
Okay, so picture this. A whole planet, betalized, serene, telepathic, famously nonviolent.
right. The absolute opposite of a war footing. Known for empathy, not aggression.
Exactly. And they find themselves facing, well, total annihilation, just oblivion.
And their desperate plea for Starfleet's help. It hinges on something just completely unthinkable.
Yeah, a choice that really forces them to look hard at their deepest values,
Yeah,
right in the face of this massive threat. It's a real moral crucible.
absolutely. This isn't just a standard distress call. It's a full-blown crisis of conscience playing out.
So today, our mission is this deep dive into the Battle of Betazed.
Yeah, a really pivotal moment in the Dominion War. And it wasn't just about ships and phasers, not at all.
No, it was about these profound ethical questions, some really shocking scientific discoveries that came out of it, and just immense personal sacrifices.
Made under the absolute worst kind of pressure imaginable, we're going to unpack how one of Starfleet's most, well, respected officers had to face this impossible choice.
And how this surprising breakthrough born from something truly horrific actually offered a path to victory, but at a staggering cost.
To do this, we've gathered quite a bit of material. We're talking detailed internal Starfleet logs, some very raw personal reflections from key people involved.
And these harrowing firsthand accounts straight from the Betazoid resistance. So this isn't just a summary,
No, think of it as a curated journey. We're trying to piece together the hidden truths of this incredibly difficult conflict.
And that truth, like it often does, really begins in desperation.
Right. So rewind about 4 months before the main events we're discussing. The Dominion invades Betazed, annexes it.
Which gives them this strategic chokehold, doesn't it? Smack bang in the heart of the Federation.
Precisely. And Starfleet's attempts to push them out, they had been, frankly, disastrous. We're talking ships getting destroyed before they even entered the system.
Whole starbase is just gone.
Yeah.
Obliterated.
Yeah, casualties were mounting daily, hope was. Well, let's just say it was a very scarce commodity back then.
So try to put yourself in Deanna Troi's shoes. Counselor on the Enterprise. Her home, Betazed, is under siege.
And there's a total communications blackout. Nothing getting in or out.
She hasn't heard a word from her mother, Loxana, or her little brother, not since the invasion started. The emotional toll, you can only imagine.
Huge. Here she is, the ship's counselor, unable to even counsel herself. Just plagued by depression, anger.
Can't eat, can't sleep. And to make things even worse, the Enterprise itself, her ship, her home, is out of the fight too, damaged from a previous battle.
It's just this moment of profound helplessness for her and for Starfleet, really.
It really is. And the Dominion, they weren't just holding Betazed for its location, were they?
No, not at all. We know now, thanks to intelligence gathered by the Resistance, that the Cardassians, remember, their local Dominion allies had built this new space station, Sentak Nor, in orbit.
Sentak Nor. Okay, and this wasn't just any old station.
Far from it. It was a combined maintenance facility and a Jem'Hadar hatchery.
A hatchery. Right. For anyone needing a refresher, Jem'Hadar are the Dominion's genetically engineered shock troops, bred for war.
And a hatchery means a constant, terrifying supply line of new soldiers. There were already 50,000 Jem'Hadar serving in the occupation force down on Betazed.
50,000. Wow.
And this station, Sentak Nor, was their main strategic operations command post for the entire sector. Critical infrastructure.
Okay, if that wasn't grim enough, there was something else going on, something darker.
Yes, a really disturbing secret lurking beneath the surface. This renowned Cardassian scientist, Dr. Moset, was on board Sentak Nor.
Conducting highly classified bioresearch, a top priority for the Dominion, apparently.
And he wasn't just breeding Jem'Hadar, he was experimenting on captive Betazoids.
Abducting the most talented telepaths from the planet.
For Betazoids, his whole essence is empathy, connection. This wasn't just physical harm. It was an assault on their very identity, their most sacred sense of self.
Imagine having your mind, your soul, basically dissected for weapons research. It's chilling.
It's truly horrifying. The Resistance suspected the Dominion wanted more than just the location, and they were tragically right. Moset was harvesting Betazoid brain matter.
Why? What was the goal?
He was trying to genetically engineer telepathic Jem'Hadar.
Telepathic Jem'Hadar. Good grief.
Yeah, think about that. An already formidable enemy, now with telepathy. It's terrifying. They'd be practically invincible.
So back on the planet, the Resistance, led by people like Deanna Troi and Court Enerin, they're at breaking point.
Completely. They don't have the weapons. They don't really have the skills for conventional warfare. Plus, there's this illness, Regilian fever, like a bubonic plague running rampant among the children.
And the Jem'Hadar had destroyed hospitals, medicine supplies.
It paints this picture of a planet not just under military occupation, but suffering a full-blown humanitarian crisis, just absolute desperation.
So, facing total defeat, the Resistance comes up with this, well, desperate, shocking plan.
They ask Starfleet to bring them someone specific, someone who could turn the tide. A man named Hent Tevrin.
And who is Hent Tevrin? Deanna Troi explains he's a serial murderer, the worst Betazaids has ever known.
He kills with his mind.
Right. So just stop and think about that. They're asking Starfleet to release a monster, a serial killer, to save them.
Yeah, and Deanna, she knew him, or knew of him.
Yeah.
She'd done an internship at the prison where Tevrin was held. She knew firsthand how dangerous he was.
What was he like?
She described this unsettling emptiness, a black void in his mind. Brilliant, apparently, but completely devoid of remorse. He actually got joy from killing.
How did he kill with his mind?
He'd rediscovered this lethal psionic talent, an ancient, terrifying mental ability. It allowed him to project emotions so intensely they could cause these slow, agonizing deaths.
Like projecting pure despair until someone's body just gives out.
Exactly like that. Horrifying.
And this is where Captain Picard faces his own impossible choice. Starfleet Command, even the Federation Council, they'd approved this plan from Vaughn, the Special Ops Commander, to unleash Tevrin.
Picard found himself very uncomfortably, without a real choice in the matter. It felt like his hands were tied.
It's the ultimate paradox, isn't it? How can you defend your values when the very act of defending them forces you to abandon them? What's the real cost of a victory like that?
Precisely. For a Starfleet captain, someone bound by the Prime Directive, by Starfleet ideals, this isn't just tactics. It's a profound crisis of conscience.
Picard explicitly questioned it. How can we fight for our beliefs when doing so forces us to compromise those very values we're willing to die for?
He knew that training Betazoids to kill with their minds, it would change them, fundamentally, maybe irrevocably.
But Commander Vaughn, the special ops guy, he was brutally pragmatic about it.
Yeah, his argument was, look, the Betazoids are already changed by desperation. This was their idea, not ours.
And the Federation was losing the war. He made that point pretty forcefully, didn't he?
He did. His line was, if we don't empower the Betazoids according to their wishes, how long until other Federation worlds start falling like dominoes?
It's a tough argument to counter. Is there a line where pragmatism has an override principle just for survival?
That is precisely the agonizing dilemma they were facing. Vaughn would argue, and did, that there simply wasn't another option on the table.
They were out of time, out of options, and Beta Rays was dying. The clock was ticking loudly.
So Deanna Troi finds herself just trapped. Vaughn basically gives her an ultimatum.
Hope has convinced Director Lanolin, the warden at Tevrin's prison, to release him, or Beta Rays is doomed. Simple as that.
And despite her deep revulsion, her personal connection to the horror of what Tevrin did, she realized she had no real choice. It was this, or let her world perish.
Meanwhile, Starfleet is scrambling behind the scenes. Enterprise, even though it was damaged,
gets top priority repairs at Starbase 133, done in less than 4 days. Incredible turnaround.
Picard, though he's deeply hesitant about the ethics of it all, agrees to lead the task force against Sentok Nor.
But it's not a huge fleet. It's the Enterprise and just 3 smaller Sabre-class light cruisers. Think of them as fast attack craft against a superior Dominion force guarding the station.
And for the infiltration team, that's Commander Vaughn, Dr. Crusher, Data, and Deanna Troi. They get the USS Defiant.
Right, operating under a modified cloak. Chief O'Brien rigged it up to try and evade Dominion sensors. Their mission, critical. Get to the planet Dorona, secure Tevrin from the prison, and get him to the Resistance on Betazoids.
The infiltration onto Dorona sounds tense just reading about it.
Oh, it was incredibly fraught. The team had to disguise themselves, get this, as a dysfunctional family of farmers.
Vaughn playing a senile father, Data as a brainless brother, just to get past the Jem'Hadar checkpoint.
And while they're there, they witness a family being executed, just like that, for having a single hidden weapon.
Sets the stakes pretty clearly, doesn't it?
Absolutely, no room for error. But even getting to the prison wasn't the end of it. They had to get Tevrin out.
And Director Lanolin, the warden, he wasn't just going to hand him over.
No, he was horrified by the idea of releasing this monster. He actually tried to kill Tevrin himself right there in the cell.
But Vaughn stepped in.
Took a phaser blast to the shoulder, serious wound. With Vaughn down and Data carrying him, suddenly Deanna finds herself in command of the escape.
So she has to deactivate force fields, fight off prison guards, get away with the serial killer, and there's a Jem'Hadar patrol closing in.
Talk about being thrown into the fire, absolutely.
At the exact same time, miles away in orbit, Riker's team beams onto Centaur. That's him, Chief O'Brien, Geordi LaForge.
O'Brien, using his deep knowledge of Kardashian tech, nobody knows it better, quickly hacks into the station's mainframe.
And initiates the auto-destruct sequence. Goal. Destroy the hatchery, destroy the command center, cut off that supply line of Jem'Hadar soldiers.
It's incredibly dynamic. Multiple critical operations happen all at once, everything hanging by a thread.
And Picard, with the Enterprise facing those overwhelming odds against the station's defenders, he makes this incredibly daring gamble.
He pretends to surrender to the Jem'Hadar, lowers his shields.
Just to buy a few precious seconds to transport Riker's team onto the station before they're captured or destroyed.
It was an incredibly high-stakes move, risking the flagship, the whole crew, for the chance to liberate Betazized. But it paid off.
A close call, though.
Extremely close. But Picard's gamble really did save the day, operationally speaking. And Riker's team, once inside, they find Moset's lab.
And the results of his experiments.
Yeah. Thousands of dead Jem'Hadar. The gruesome outcome of his failed attempts to create telepathic soldiers.
But Picard sees something else in this horror, doesn't he?
He does. Realizing there might be a different path, he quickly interrogates Moset, plays on the Kardashians' massive ego.
And he learns something crucial.
He learns that the telepathic Jem'Hadar couldn't handle an empathic overload. Their minds would just shut down. They'd die.
So the very thing Moset was trying to create, it had this built-in fatal flaw, derived from the Betazoid biology he was exploiting.
Exactly. The potential weapon had an Achilles heel related to its very nature. And this detail, born from such horrific experiments, gives Picard this stunning idea.
He hypothesizes.
What? That even if normal Jem'Hadar might not actually die from an empathic overload like the failed telepathic ones did, they could still be seriously disoriented by it.
Making them easy to capture, not kill.
Precisely.
Right.
Which leads to this completely different alternative to Tevrin's horrific lethal method. Invasive empathy.
Invasive empathy. Okay, so this is where the Betazoid people themselves face another agonizing choice. Do they use the killer, Tevrin, or try this new method?
Right. And the Betazoid Council, with Deanna Troi being quite influential, ultimately chose invasive empathy.
Which meant defeating the Jem'Hadar without resorting to, as the logs put it, wholesale slaughter. Staying true to their nonviolent principles, even now.
But how does invasive empathy actually work? It's more than just, projecting feelings.
Yeah, sounds intense.
It is. It's described as a non-lethal yet incredibly forceful psychic assault. So instead of Tevrin's focused, murderous projections,
the Betazoid telepaths would flood the Jem'Hadar minds with just a chaotic torrent of all humanoid emotions. Hate, fear, joy, love, confusion, everything all at once.
The idea being to completely overwhelm their battlefield focus, shut down their higher functions temporarily, make them easy to capture, neutralized without being killed.
It was a way to fight back, to win, but preserve their core values. A difficult choice, but one consistent with who they are.
So the planet-wide assault begins, but applying this kind of intense psychic power on a global scale.
It proved incredibly draining. The reports described telepaths being pushed way past their limits, burning out their telepathic cortex.
Deanna herself experienced this overwhelming backwash of shared emotion and psychic strain. She nearly succumbed herself.
So the victory, when it came at this staggering, almost unimaginable cost.
Over 1,200 Betazoid telepaths died from the strain of that empathic assault.
1,200, that's just...
An unbelievable toll. A silent sacrifice that absolutely reshaped their entire society moving forward.
It really redefines what victory even means in this context, doesn't it?
Absolutely. They won, yes. Betamized was free. The Jem'Hadar were subdued without mass killing. Centaur was destroyed. But the cost...
And as the conflict ended, there was one final dark twist for Deanna Troi.
Tevrin. Before he died, he was killed during the chaos, resisting recapture. Apparently, he invaded her mind one last time.
Forced her to experience.
Everything.
Every torturous act, every murder he committed. And worse, the euphoria, the joy he felt doing it. That knowledge, that horrific burden, was now hers alone, along with the responsibility of what to do with it.
So this deep dive into the Battle of Betazed, it really highlights the extraordinary stakes, the incredibly difficult choices, often morally gray.
Choices made under unbearable pressure. It was a victory, yes, but so hard-won, and the consequences were profound. That ultimate sacrifice of over 1,200 Betazoid telepaths, burning out their minds to preserve their way of life through invasive empathy rather than using Tevrin's methods. It's a powerful testament to their spirit.
And it leaves us right back with Captain Picard's lingering question, that concern that echoes through almost any conflict, really.
How can we fight for our beliefs when doing so forces us too often to compromise those very values we're willing to die for?
The Betazoids found a way. They defeated the Jem'Hadar without wholesale slaughter. But what does it truly mean for a peaceful culture to embrace, even temporarily, such a powerful, dangerous ability like invasive empathy? And can they truly renounce it afterwards?
Exactly. And then you think about Deanna Troi, carrying that horrific burden of Tevrin's experiences, his sadism forced into her mind. When a conflict like this is finally over, how do you actually escape its shadow?
Especially when the act of fighting itself changes you so fundamentally, leaves this indelible mark on your soul, maybe even on the fabric of your entire society.
What does it mean for a people, or even just one individual like Deanna, to contain a genie like Tevrin's knowledge, or the capacity for invasive empathy, even if it saved them? Where do you go from there?